12 Oscar nominations, the most for any male talent. 3 Oscar wins for acting, tying the most for any male. Did anyone else miss Jack Nicholson? But Jack is gone.
You can't handle the truth!
When Mike Flanagan went to adapt Stephen King's sequel to The Shining, Dr. Sleep, he approached Jack Nicholson to appear in a cameo, the Jack Torrance character. Nicholson gave his blessing to the production, but he refused. He's retired from acting. He's whiling his time away in his mansion in Hollywood Hills, watching movies and enjoying life. And Jack Nicholson deserves that. So this weekend, I had the pleasure of spending 3 nights with Jack Nicholson. Throwing up numbers to make you feel old here, but it's the 45th anniversary of The Shining. It's been re-released in cinemas the past weekend and remastered in IMAX. And to me, the thought of watching The Shining on the biggest screen possible, remastered, sitting in a cinema and watching it properly, it couldn't turn it down. Yeah, but before that happened,
69, dudes!
forgive me, Father, I've sinned. I've never seen Jack Nicholson's The Last Detail before. I've been watching Big John Bosch videos online.
This is just optimum to watch the football.
Wait a minute, can you back up a little bit and say that again?
I've been watching Big John Bosch videos online.
Up the seafood, up the shellfish.
No, not that one. Back up a little more.
Never seen Last Detail before?
Do you realize what you said?
Time to make amends. Close your eyes and picture a film where a naive character played by Randy Quaid is taken on a road trip across America by a couple of more experienced human beings, and they introduce him to a series of vices that he's never experienced in his life before: alcohol, women. But enough about Kingpin.
I mean, I can figure some things out for myself.
Talk about The Last Detail, but the parallels are there. Randy Quaid playing this naive character who's not really taking advantage of in Last Detail versus Kingpin, but yeah, you can see why the Farrelly brothers wanted to cast him in that role. Anyway, 1973's The Last Detail. This was a 1970 novel by Daryl Ponixan. It was directed by Hal Ashby, who's kind of associated with that new Hollywood wave of filmmaking with filmmakers such as Scorsese, Woody Allen, Sidney Lumet. The writer of the novel, Daryl Ponixan, spent time in the US Navy, and this film is based on his experiences there. The plot is relatively simple. You have a seaman who's quite young, 18 years old, and he's being court-martialed, dishonorably discharged. He basically attempted to steal $40 from a charity donation box that happened to be run by the wife of the naval base commander. So Jack Nicholson and Otis Young's characters are tasked with the task of transporting him from their naval base across to the naval prison. You've got a road trip movie, or a train and bus trip movie by way of this film, but the heart and soul of it basically is framed around these two more experienced seamen and them taking a liking to the naivety, this young character, and kind of feeling like they want to show him a good time before they ultimately put him facing a 8-year prison sentence. This movie works because of the performances and the way the characters develop as the movie goes on. There is a instant magnetism to Jack Nicholson in this movie, as he's had throughout the majority of his career. Randy Quaid's very good as the naive young sailor, and Otis Young is kind of there to play off against Jack Nicholson's character. The movie really is a kind of reflection on America's stance, mentality, the general public's opinion of the Vietnam War. The film was record-breaking at the time, but not in the box office way, but in terms of its profanity. It did strike a chord with me while watching it, so I had to have a search, but it seems very foul-mouthed for films of that era. Of course, nowadays probably doesn't strike quite the chord, but the movie studio at Columbia Pictures were terrified by the script. They thought the language was way too obscene, the record-breaking amounts of the F word
Fook. Spawn and Fook.
being used stuck as a mainstream movie for several years. But Hal Ashby, as the director, argued, this is how sailors talk. This is a realistic take on how sailors would talk to one another. And he said that to take it away would break that kind of realism. And Jack Nicholson was already a star coming off the back of Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, and his portrayal of Billy Badowski with his self-grown moustache kind of cemented the rising star that he was. He won Best Actor at Cannes for this, he was Oscar nominated for this, and you can start to see when you look at where Jack Nicholson's career went, this really was the turning point. He is magnetic in this film. Otis Young and Randy Quaid are superb as well, but Jack, the film really angers itself on his performance. And he went on to do Chinatown afterwards, and yeah, that was kind of touch paper was lit and he blazed the trail forward. It could have been different. Burt Reynolds was originally considered for his role, and John Travolta, he auditioned for the role that Randy Quaid took. In the film, well, it's obviously got its spirit around the Navy and the bonds between different ages and different backgrounds that sailors will have and how they come to find one another. It's definitely anti-bureaucratic, the view of the system and how this sailor can be locked up for a relatively menial felony. Yeah, real nice snapshot of the time, and watching it for the first time 50 years removed and appreciating it as a product of its time. It is something that exists and tells a story of that time back then. Certain themes have carried on through, particularly the bureaucracy of war and the way that soldiers, or in this case naval men, are pawns really. And so yeah, that was my first of 3 nights with Jack, and really set the tone. It was nice to go way back early to his career and see a performance I've not seen of his before, and set me up to go and then watch something kind of in the middle of his career. So yeah, looking back on one of the greatest horror movies ever made, there's very little to be said on this one that hasn't already been said. I absolutely love The Shining. I've seen it a couple of times, once probably a little bit too young.
Yes.
It's just a masterful execution on suspense, horror, dread, the way the pacing works. The first time actually seeing it in a cinema screen without distractions, and you just really come to appreciate, for however much footage Kubrick caught from the helicopter, from the Steadicam, the way it works as a kind of, it's an opera, and Kubrick just directs it or orchestrates it magnificently. I think things you come to appreciate seeing it again, seeing it upon reflections, you appreciate just how well grounded it is, the isolation, the way that they're set away, the small glimmer of hope with the radio, the fear of those you trust or love, the ones close to you, breaking down and becoming something terrifying. Just a fantastic experience, and getting to see it in IMAX, getting to see it blown up on that big format without losing any of the detail, and how hypnotic it was. I was absolutely locked in, despite knowing where it was going to. Fully was on board for the ride, and really appreciated a lot of the subtleties of Jack's performance. I know it gets bombastic towards the end.
Here's Johnny!
But yeah, second night with Jack in a row, and just mesmerised and engulfed by the wonder of what cinema can be. And I just felt I had to finish it off. I had to have a third night with Jack. I had younger Jack, had middle Jack, something from the end of Jack's career. So stayed away from How Do You Know, which I've never seen, but it's got 5.4 on IMDb. It's the last film in Jack Nicholson's magnificent career. Second highest rated, 8.5. I am talking about the movie that finally gave Martin Scorsese his Best Director Oscar, 2006's The Departed. Now, when this film was first announced, Hollywood is remaking one of the greatest Hong Kong cinema experiences. Infernal Affairs was such an incredible movie.
What's the difference?
It's not a like-for-like remake like, oh my word, they remade Oldboy. They remade Oldboy. Takes the basic premise of a mole in the police, a mole in the mob, and working against one another, and transports it to a different location, which is Boston. And my word, it works so well. And Jack is coming to this with his actor hat on, but his producer hat, his writer hat on, and there's a couple of great stories that I want to share with you. Matt Damon's spoken in other interviews about what Jack brought to certain things where...
It was my favorite thing that happened on The Departed, about a scene that I was not in, but he was. And the scene said, it was 1/8 of a page, and it said, Costello, which is the name of his character, Costello executes man kneeling in the marshes. Mm-hmm. Right, so you go, okay. Now, if you most people look at that and they'll go, all right, it's going to be one shot. You know, that's going to be an hour of work, and that's all I'm doing that day or whatever. He looked at that and he goes, okay, I can do that, but I think I can make it better. And so he's telling me this story. He goes, so what I do is, but instead of a man kneeling in the marshes, I make it a woman. And I go, oh, okay. And he goes, so I'm going to execute a woman. But I'm not going to be alone. I put Ray in the scene with me, and that's Ray Winston, who plays kind of his right-hand man, this brilliant English actor. And he goes, so I put Ray in the scene with me. And I do the thing, and I shoot her in the back of the head, like it says in the script. But if you leave the camera rolling, after she falls, I turn to Ray and I say, geez, she felt funny. Now that's a really sinister thing to say. Because it means I do this a lot and there's a way people fall.
Right.
And she didn't fall that way. And I go, oh, yeah, I get it, man, I get it. He goes, now you could end the scene there, but if you leave the camera rolling, Ray steps forward and he reveals that he's holding an axe. He's gonna chop her up.
Oh, man.
Now you could end the scene there. He goes, but if you leave the camera rolling, I turn to Ray and say, wait, I think I want to fuck her again. And he goes, now that's a very sinister line. And I go, I get it. It's really, really, really disturbing. And he says, now you could end the scene there. But if you keep the camera rolling, Ray stops and looks at me. And there's a pause, and I go, ah!
And outside of this piece that he did with Matt Damon, he did another thing with DiCaprio in the film. He had a kind of scene where he's interrogating DiCaprio's character, it's just one-on-one, and unbeknownst to DiCaprio and the rest of the cast and the crew, he went to the prop department and asked them to give him a gun. So while he's there talking to DiCaprio's talking away, pleading his innocence, Nicholson drops the gun on the floor, proceeds to pick it up and play around with it. Just adding a little bit to the scene, a little bit to the character, a little bit to the uncertainty of the character Frank Costello that he plays. Then he went and made The Bucket List, which was okay. Then he went and made How Do You Know, which we'll ignore. And just like that, his career was over. I like the thought that he went into Departed thinking this is his last big one, and he just brought it all. I love this movie. It's a 2.5-hour movie that just flies by and works fantastically on so many levels, and was just a real nice cap to my 3 nights with Jack. And if you've not seen it, it's highly recommended, but go back and watch Infernal Affairs first as well. They don't make them like they used to, but they certainly never made them as good as they did when it comes to Jack Nicholson. I had a great weekend, Jack. Thank you.
Would you like to know more?